Hello, everybody, and welcome to the True Love Talk channel. Here we want to talk and learn about human sexuality and love based on the teachings that Pope John Paul II left in the Theology of the Body. I am Elisa, and today we're going to talk about why does true love need to be free. Okay, so let's begin. So, here we want to talk about why does love need to be free, right? And what kind of freedom does it need? Here's the thing. When a person serves a second objective in my life, when they have a purpose, then they stop being just a person, exclusively a person, and they also become a little bit of, they can become props or objects, right? That's the problem. So they're not loved for themselves and exclusively as people, that they start being objectified, and because they're objectified, they're dehumanized. So love, to be real love, we cannot love the other person because I need you, but because I love you. I mean, even if I don't have a reason to be with you, I love to be with you. Even if you don't give me anything, just spending time with you is enough. That's why love has to be free. So it has to be free from any need. If, let's say, I need to have a baby so that my husband doesn't leave me, then I don't love my baby for him or herself. I love my baby because I want my baby. I don't love my baby. I want it as a prop for the rest of my life, not for him or herself. It also has to be free from pressures. If I feel pressured to get married because everybody in my family is calling me a spinster, then I am not going to love my fiance for him or for himself. I am going to love him because of the wedding, because of the ring. That is what I am loving. And basically, any other man would do. It's not him because it's just him. It's him because he was the one who gave me the ring, not real love. It also has to be free from hormones. Most human relationships, remember that I told you that sexuality is a wide spectrum of relationships that include things like mentors and siblings and so on. Whenever we can truly love, there is sexuality. And most relationships, most in our sexuality, are take time, and they don't need hormones because it depends on how did we meet and the joy of being together and discovering that joy together and what happens when we're together and so on. But there are two relationships that need the a hormonal basis. These are romantic relationships for marriage and the parent child relationship. So the love that the parent has for the child. The child doesn't need to love the parent, but the parent needs to love the child for the survival of the species. Both these relationships have a fundamental role in preserving the human species. And that is why we have like an extra biological aid for these relationships. In the case of romantic relationships, we have the falling in love. And when we fall in love, our our brain is flooded with gonadal hormones. These are testosterone and estrogens, as we know. And basically, these hormones have two basic functions. First of all, is making us love and like everything. So when we're in love, rainy days are very romantic and are lovely, and sunny days are very romantic and are lovely. And when my boss yells at me, well, poor guy, but everything is so romantic and so lovely, one always smiles. And the idea of liking everything is when we start a romantic relationship, we are choosing one man or one woman as better and more important than all other men and all other women, sorry, on earth. And the question is why? If after a while, after a year in a relationship, you can have a good reason. But when we just started dating, there is no reason why this person should have better treatment than anybody else. And in that case, in this kind of situations, if we found something that we don't like, we would just dismiss the entire relationship because there was that one thing that I didn't like. The idea is that we give this relationship a bigger chance. And so our brain gives us like this extra help by making us love everything so we don't dismiss the person at the first with the first issue. And the other reason, the other function that these hormones fulfill is they they allow us to no, they make us want to be with the other person all the time so that we can learn who is the other person, so that we can develop all the extra part of the relationship that isn't there. If I ask you why you love your parents, you can tell me I have an entire lifetime of memories and of situations where my mother and my father have been there, so I love him or her because of that. But when you just met a person, there's no reason. But this relationship is in particular is so important for the species that basically we need to fast forward the the memory creation, right? See, the creation of memories. O sea, not memory creation, the creation of memories. And that is why we are always thinking of the other person when we're in love, so that we seek the other person and we want to spend more time with them, so that we start building all of those memories and creating the relationship, the language with the other person, and knowing the other person better. But eventually, this is going to be over because eventually the brain says, okay, you've had enough. Let's see if indeed there is something worth having or not, right? The other hormone that applies to, and this applies both to parent-child relationship and the romantic relationships, is oxytocin. Oxytocin basically makes me think, or makes everybody think, that the other person is the most important person in the world for you, for us. The thing is, this is very important when we have a child, because if we have to wait until this child becomes the most important person in our world, the child dies. So, as soon as there's childbirth, and for many, when they see the face of the babies, that that gives us a rush of of oxytocin. So, so that we love this baby and we make him or her the priority in our lives, and the baby's always taken care of. Oxytocin is also released in intercourse, during intercourse, especially during the orgasm. And the idea is, um, as I told you, love is an emotion, and it means loving another person means deciding every day to love the other person. And that means sometimes it's really easy to make that decision. But there are some other days when things get difficult or things are changing, in which making that choice is not so easy. So basically, to have a life lasting relationship, as a marriage should be, we need that extra something that oxytocin gives us. But before there is a marriage, before I say yes in the church or wherever I say yes, I need to be able to say it without oxytocin in my brain. So I can tell the other person, I love you for you. Not because my brain is forcing me to love you. I love you because I love you. That's it. Yeah, for no other reason than because you're yourself. And finally, love should also be free from projection. Projection is a psychological phenomenon in which we all have an image of who is or how is the perfect woman or how is the perfect man for me. And when we meet someone, we don't have a reason to believe that this person is exactly whom I want him to be, but we don't have a reason to believe that he isn't. So what we say is he is because he is. That's it. And we feel the person with all these characteristics and features that may not be his. The idea is that we give the person some time to take off from that, to take off all those characteristics that aren't really his, and to show himself how he really is, so that when we say I love you, we say it, I love you how you are, not because you are how I want you to be, but because you are how you are, right? So yes, love needs to be free from needs, from hormones, from projection, from pressures, from everything. Love also needs to be total, and that is going to be the topic of our next video. So it was great that you decided to stay until the end of the video. If you have any questions or any comments, please write them in the comment section below. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. And well, that's it. It was nice to see you. Have a nice day. Lots of blessings for everybody. Bye.